this should be easy. And this one has been here for possibly 6 months. I just want to give it a better substrate for it to continue to grow. Hello and welcome back. So today we're doing another repot of the big Alocasias. This time is the Zebrina, and this one is doing okay in the mix that it is because it's just peat moss and perlite. So it has a new leaf that is emerging right now. It's possibly the first leaf that since I got it that is grown. Like the other ones have stayed, so that now I'm not complaining. There hasn't been any much of a new growth since I got it. For 6 months, that's quite a while. But we can say that means that the plant is acclimatized to my environment, so it should be safe to repot. Okay, now because this is a different mix of the one that we did on the previous episode, which was the Odora Variegata, that one was already a chunky mix. You saw how easy it came out. This one is a lot more compacted, and I cannot leave as much of substrate in this case because my mix being so chunky and airy, this can easily become isolated from the rest of the media of the new media and then create dry rot or become too saturated and create root rot. So slowly we're going to remove this. This is a good thing about this particular mix. I'm not looking forward for my next one. My longilova is in that mix that I actually hate, but we'll see how that goes. Because this one with like a few taps like this, it makes the perlite soften and whatever is around the perlite. So I'm assuming there might be some corms. I'm paying attention as they drop. I will double check this later because with alocasias you never know. Sometimes they're like lots of corms, sometimes not so much. I have tried the Zebrina a couple of times. This is the Tigrina. If I say Zebrina earlier, correct myself. There's a little difference. I'm gonna point it out what the difference is on both of them. Now the Zebrinas that I have had before, they've been like quite small, and to be honest, I don't remember what happened to them. I don't remember if you rotted or if you just drop all the leaves. If I had the corm, I put it in the propagation box, but I don't have it, so it didn't grow from that. Also want to make sure that there's no cork in here. But this is an example for that I will not even dare to do something with this massive root system to even try to transfer it to pond, because for pond you need to have water roots and these are not water roots. You'll have to sacrifice, I'm not saying that it's not possible, I'm saying that you'll have to sacrifice all this root system to create a new one. And why? Especially when pond is, for me, has not been a guarantee. I'm going to show you who's the barker in a little bit because I'm going to take him for a walk. I'm just running my fingers along the roots just to soften enough media and then give it a couple of taps so it falls by itself. This media is not fully dry, but it's not fully moist, so it crumbles quite easily. I see a chunk in here that is probably the actual corm. When I get to the center, that is going to be possibly the more moist part of this whole system. I'm just going to use the hose to soften it up a little bit. Because again, remember, like this, it would be like brain surgery on us, all this disturbance. So I'm trying to keep it as soft and non-invasive as possible. Although this is invasive regardless. Yeah, what I have here in the middle is the actual corm, but it looks like it was on some sort of cork because there's a structural form in here. So it was probably in the pot that it was before. I'm not saying that it's necessarily a cork, but there's a concentration of roots there that is more massive than the ones that we can see right here. So let me give it a little rinse with the hose and I'll be right back. All right, so see, this is what I was talking about. It looks that this whole small section is what it was the previous pot that it was in, and it was possibly a plug, and I have massive corms in here. So I'm going to try to remove those because they're like in the bottom of it, so they're not going to be enough to make a new plant anytime soon. Look at that. That's a huge corm. And I can see one more over here. This chunk right here, that is the center, is a mix of cork and finer roots, so I don't want to mess with it. That's also what's holding the corms. Look at the size of his corms. They're like Beautiful. So there's two, and I can totally tell that this is a cork, most definitely, because I can feel the difference in the soil. But the plant has done well, even that a cork and the mix of peat moss and perlite is similar. It's just the difference is that the cork is just an adhesive added to the mix. I don't know why they do that, but at this point, I don't even care. But the plant has plenty of roots outside of it. So even if this little area, in comparison to the root system, what we have right now, even this little middle area dries up because it's isolated from the rest of the media. The roots have already completely outgrown it, so they will not get neglected from moisture or nutrients. And all the roots are in great condition. What I'm thinking is I'm gonna leave them in the same pot, but we're gonna change the media. So I'm gonna do the same thing that I do with all my plants. I'm gonna put a base, and right on the base, I'm gonna add a bit of systemic earthworm castings, slow release, and in this case, just as the guarantee, I'm gonna add some of my powder, and of course mycorrhizae, because there is no inoculation in this mix. But again, this is rooting hormone, cinnamon powder, and sulfur powder. This will help the plant to fight against any possible root rot and other pathogens. There's a pinch of inoculant. I'm gonna add the diatomaceous earth when it gets closer to the top. Now that we're on the top, we repeat. But I add the diatomaceous earth, because this is the finer one of all, and this will prevent all kinds of bugs and critters there is. So now I'm gonna give a good water. I'm gonna actually give it like the leaves a brush and show you a final shot of it all finished. All right. So thank you so much for stopping by. Wish me luck with all these repots and these corms that I'm gonna address. I'm gonna put them in. I'm not sure yet in what I'm gonna put them, but possibly in a mix of stratum and perlite, and put them in the prop box, and we'll see if they grow healthy plants. They're massive, so they should be fine. Don't forget to like, drop, and subscribe. Let me know any comments, drop them down below, and share with any other plant enthusiasts. And thank you again, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.